and there are multiple things needed to be considered eligible, including current physicals, filled out forms, and paid fees. Forget any of these, and the student is no longer eligible to require. But once these requirements are met, you're allowed to play for the rest of the year, right? Wrong. Students also need to keep their grades up to be able to play. And if they can't pass all their courses, then they're put on academic probation. If an athlete is placed on academic probation, they are not allowed to participate in any game, including scrimmages, until they bring up any failing grades that they have. I believe that a good academic probation policy should help student athletes focus on school, motivate them to work hard for what they want, and show them that not following rules will have consequences. Speaking as a student athlete, I find that the academic probation policy at PHS is an effective policy because it helps student athletes focus on school. Pembroke is one of the many schools who plays in the Patriot League. Most of the high schools in the Patriot League are also members of the Massachusetts Interscholastic Athletic Association, or the MIAA, which has rules that must be followed by all its member schools. The MIAA is a private, non-profit organization that is organized by member schools to govern, coordinate, and promote education-based programs for high school students. According to the MIAA 2013 handbook, for a student to be eligible to practice with or represent an MIAA member school in athletic competitions, the student must be duly enrolled in that school. Additionally, the student must be a candidate for that school's diploma, subject to the jurisdiction of that school's principal, and under the supervision of that school's principal. These rules are set by the MIAA for its members, but what do they mean? The MIAA's rules for student eligibility can be broken down into 4 parts. 1, the student needs to be enrolled in the school they're playing in. 2, the student needs to be academically eligible to graduate from that school. 3, the principal must have the authority to suspend students from class when necessary. And 4, the principal has the control and knowledge of the students' daily attendance and achievements in class. However, the MIAA leaves the decisions about their academic probation policies to the member schools. The academic probation policy for Pembroke High School is as follows. A student failing one course in which they are enrolled at the time report cards are distributed, which is quarterly for us, will be placed on academic probation. If an athlete is placed on academic probation, they are allowed to practice with their teams, but not allowed to play in games until they bring up any failing grades that they have by the time the next report card comes out. Whitman-Hanson Regional High School, which like Pembroke is a Patriot League member, has a similar policy for academic probation. Whitman-Hanson's student handbook says that their students shall be required to receive 24 credits the previous year in prepared coursework and to be eligible for fall sports, not including freshman courses. They were there. And that winter and spring activities shall be judged on the previous trimester grade. The sample from the Whitman-Hanson student handbook implies that if a student athlete is failing at least one class, they are placed on academic probation and no longer allowed to play. Compared to Pembroke's policy, 2 other nearby Patriot League members have policies that are slightly different. These league members are Silver Lake Regional High School and Hanover High School. Both these schools have a more relaxed policy. Hanover's athletic handbook states that a student must secure at least 25 credits and not have more than 1 failing grade. Silver Lake's athletic handbook states that students must not fail more than 1 course per term. Both these policies basically allow students to fail 1 course and still play sports. Athletes might get the wrong impression from these policies if they think that sports should still be allowed to be put before school when they're not passing all their courses. Pembroke's academic probation policy is effective because it helps student athletes realize when they should focus more on schoolwork than the sports they participate in. It's important for us to remember that the athletes these policies affect are students first and foremost, and that school should be their top priority. I think that Pembroke's academic probation policy is effective because it motivates student athletes to work hard for what they want. Most, if not all, student athletes love playing their respective sports. Schoolwork, however, is a completely different story. Many student athletes, myself included, don't have a lot of time to get schoolwork done during the week. Between sports, work, and other activities they may partake in, there isn't much time left over in the day to get their homework done. The academic probation policy in place is good at making students aware when they fall behind in school. If a student does start to fall behind in class, then they may need help getting back on track and focused on school. When you use something that someone wants to motivate them, they'll usually work hard until they get it. By taking away the activity a student likes and wants to participate in, you are giving them something to work for. According to an article on motivation from the Huffington Post, a good technique for anyone is to set up a reward system for that person. Using sports as a reward for achieving passing grades is a good way to motivate teams. When student athletes work hard to bring up their grades, they get the reward of playing sports. Making students work to be able to do what they want not only teaches them an important life lesson, but also gives them a sense of achievement when they succeed. According to an article on the effects of motivation from education.com, receiving rewards for getting good grades allows students to eventually become more cognitively able to set and work for long-term goals, meaning that they ultimately realize working hard will help them achieve their goals. By motivating students to work for what they want, PHS's academic probation policy is not only effective, but it teaches these athletes that hard work is almost always rewarded. I believe that Pembroke High School's academic probation policy is effective because it shows students that not following rules has consequences. Every high school athlete knows before they start a school sport what requirements need to be met before they can play. These rules of eligibility are clear to the athletes from the beginning. Athletic eligibility is described not only in PHS's student handbook, but as well as on our athletics website. The MIAA has set rules about student athletes having current physicals on file, paying all the necessary fees on time, and filling out all the required forms. Another rule to be eligible for a sport is to have passing grades, and if this rule is followed, then the consequence is that the athlete loses their eligibility to play a sport. Most children grow up with rules set in place for them, and they know that if those rules are broken, then they get in trouble. According to an article on how to motivate teens from motivateme.info, setting up rules for teenagers to follow is a good way to get them to do what you want them to. Athletes know that if they can't follow the rules about keeping their grades up, then they don't get to play. Showing these students that rules have to be followed is a good way to prepare them for the real world, where they will have to deal with the penalties if they do break the rules. Academic probation policies help students learn this lesson by setting specific procedures to follow. An article from Glencoe.com says that a good procedure of practice is that if a rule is not followed, students should be disciplined properly. The academic probation policy at PHS is effective because it shows student athletes that not following rules have consequences. Learning to follow these rules early on in life will make the transition into adulthood easier on these students. Some people may argue, however, that placing students on academic probation can have the opposite effects than what they're trying to accomplish. By taking away something students love, you may be discouraging them and making them stop trying instead of motivating them to work hard. But the research I've done shows that it is common for students and teenagers in general to work hard in order to recover what they've lost, rather than sit and mope about it. I know that if I were ever placed on academic probation, I would work twice as hard so that I could return to playing with my team. And it's important for athletes to remember that they are playing for a school team, and if they can't pass their classes, then they should be focusing more on school and less on sports. The athletes on academic probation policy effects are students first and athletes second. The rule about student eligibility might be considered strict, but if children don't grow up learning to follow rules, they will have a hard time following directions and rules as adults. So although some might argue that the academic probation policies can be more harmful than helpful, lessons taught by these policies can usually help student athletes later on in life. Pembroke's academic probation policy states that a student failing one course in which they are enrolled at the time of report cards are distributed will be placed on academic probation. This policy is effective because it motivates student athletes to work hard, helps them focus on school, and shows them that following rules is better than breaking them. A good academic probation policy should help student athletes focus on school, motivate them to work hard for what they want, and show them that not following rules will have consequences. As a student athlete at PHS, I think that our academic probation policy is not only effective, but should be kept the same, and that schools with more relaxed policies should follow the example we set.
Good.